What's up, guys? I want to share this idea. I shared it in a podcast that I did recently, and it's a lifelong philosophy that I have. And I was reminded today when I picked up this book, Scattered Minds About ADD, by this guy whose name I'm going to butcher, but you've probably seen him on social media. Business-wise, things are great. We had more inbound leads today. I felt like an animal yesterday and today. We had inbound leads come in, and I'm just on fire, dude. Like on fire. So, um, yeah, excited. Got the VA coming in tomorrow. What's up, Alan? Glad you're with us, dude. Um, I attribute this is the number one factor that I attribute to why I've been successful in the different areas that I have been, and it has served me really well. I don't know why it wouldn't serve you just as well. So, this is the phrase. This is what I said on the podcast. It's easier to see when you stand on the shoulders of giants. I think I heard this from Tim Ferriss, and of course he pulled it from someone else. He pulled it from someone else. So I looked up, like, where did this come from? And it comes from back in 1123. Um, this is the quote: "The ancients had only the books that they themselves wrote, but we today have all their books, and moreover, all those that have been written from their time in the beginning until our time." I kind of shorten it a little bit. We are like a dwarf perched on the shoulders of giants. The dwarf sees further than the giant, not because of the dwarf's own stature, but because of the stature of the giant whose shoulder he stands on. Similarly, we moderns see more than the ancients, because our writings, modest as they are added to their great works. There's a really cool um, stained glass thing in France, in this cathedral, and it is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John as ordinary sized people sitting on the shoulders of Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel, prophets from the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament. And the evangelists, though they're smaller, they see more than the prophets did, because they get to build on what was already there. So this idea, like I said, is the number one factor to my success, I would say. Not for my own knowledge or like I'm some genius, because I'm not, or I'm some just wild, yeah, okay. I think I'm a smart dude, but I'm smart because I am willing to shut up and go and listen to people who are way smarter than me. And everyone can be that kind of smart. I didn't get to where I am because I figured it out myself and I just did it all, but because I read from those who had spent 40 years in marketing, 40 years in sales, 40 years in branding, 40 years in leadership. Like, those are the areas that they are experts in. Why would I not go learn from that expert? Like, why would I waste my time making the same mistakes that they did? I was just like in Barnes and Noble today, and as I'm going down the escalator, I'm looking around at like thousands of books, going, I limit myself. I limit what I know. I limit my ability by not constantly reading like I used to. In the beginning of learning business. Like, I would just read course after course after course, free stuff on YouTube, ask mentors. I wouldn't say mentors, but I'd jump in group chats and just ask tons of questions from people ahead of me. And this has served me so well. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. That's what um, I think that's what wisdom looks like. Um, yeah, it's pulling from a bunch of sources. So, as far as like being practical, the way that I have learned has been to go as deep into one person's um, methodology as far as I can and understand it in and out and why they make the decisions they do, to get that person's perspective. So, like, I started with Ari Shearson back in 2017, 2018, and just consumed everything this guy had. And then once I felt like I really understood and applied and tried things from him, then I went to the next person. I didn't jump from person to person to person to person. like all at once. Like I really spent time learning one person's methodology. And you're able to do that with a book. Like you're able to really get in the head of someone way further ahead of you and understand why they make the decisions that they make. Um, it's like being mentored without having to have a real person there. So, yeah, I think I just wanted to share that. That's been absolutely crucial for me. Absolutely crucial. So I would definitely recommend go and do those things. Go and read those books. Like if you just imagine like so many of the issues that you have and so many of the concerns and worries and I don't know how or what should I or should this be next or whatever is holding you back would just disappear if you read 10 books on a subject matter. Like if you're struggling with marketing, shut up and read 10 books about marketing. Like really read them and apply them as you're reading them and test them, and you're going to be more knowledgeable than 99% of the population on marketing. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe like even reading 10 marketing books and applying and testing and having proof that is enough to take you so far. Now imagine you read 20 books, you read 30 books, or you read 10 books on marketing, 10 books on sales, 10 books on branding, 10 books on process efficiency, 10 books on lean startups, 10 books on team development. Like there's so many issues that I think we run into because we don't have enough knowledge to make the right decision or know that we even should be making a decision or that we have a problem that would just be solved by something so simple. But people just don't do it. I said really early on in my career, I kind of had to figure out like what am I going to be good at? Like what am I going to be known for? What is my skill set going to be? And I decided I would not be a master of one, and I would instead be a jack of many trades. My thought in that is that you kind of have like a deck of cards, like you have a one or a two all the way to jack, queen, king, and then ace. And I made peace early on with I will never be an ace at one thing. I likely will never be a king at one thing. I won't be a queen at one thing. But I will work darn freaking hard to at least be a jack, at least be considered royalty, and to be able to recognize royalty when I see it. Like you think of, I don't know, there's just like a level of like once you hit royalty in my head, this is just symbolic, whatever, of like 2 to 10, like nothing really special, but once you hit royalty, like you now are in the league of royalty and recognized as royalty and can speak to royalty in a way that a peasant can't. So there's a level of respect and yeah. So that is how I have built the skill set that I have. The areas where I've focused: sales, marketing, branding. I really think those are the key things to the type of businesses that interest me and that I find joy in. So, yeah. Very, I think it's very important. I think it's crucial. I like to share this with people too. It might not help you right now to go read 10 books on an idea or a skill you think you might possibly maybe use in the future. It's much more, so take this is the imagery I give to people. Once again, I don't know who I got this from. Imagine you and I, we're at my house and I've got a coffee book on the table and it says how to survive in the wilderness, right? And you might not even notice the book. If you do notice the book, you're like, oh, cool. And like maybe you flip through a couple pages, something grabs you for 30 seconds, like, wow, it's interesting. You put it down, and I promise you 2 days from now, you do not remember anything from that. Now imagine the same book, How to Survive in the Wilderness, except we're 3 years deep into the apocalypse. An EMP bomb went off. There's no electricity. Gas is a scarce resource. It's the apocalypse. and you see that book again, the way that you pick up and read that book and the amount of knowledge that you retain and how much of what you read you're actually able to use is astronomically different. Like the care and the level of attention that you give to that thing, to that book, is so different than, yeah, this is just a tidbit on how to start a fire, right? When you don't really care. So in the same way, it's not useful for me right now to read a book on managing a, I don't know, like a SaaS team. I don't have SaaS. Like I don't deal with developers. I don't deal with coders. I don't deal with having to understand the market I could potentially break into and the total addressable market, like the audience that I don't need to deal with. Who are my competitors? How do I need to get funding? Like those things, they mean nothing to me right now. For me to read a book about it would be for me to just be flipping through a survival book of how to survive in the wilderness, and I'm just like, oh, interesting, like cool, you know. But right now, as we bring a VA on board, I'm I'm able to manage projects myself. I'm able to manage me and Elijah's what we're doing. Bringing on another team member that's full time, I don't know how to properly. I can do the best I can, right? I can figure it out, but why would I not just go read 3 books on managing a team, managing an office, on project management specifically, on how to set realistic KPIs and monitor how teams are hitting them, and then if they don't hit them, like how do I deal with that? How do I, when they do hit them, like how do I deal with that? Like how do I encourage them? How do I train them? How do I lift them up? How do I be a good leader in that way? Why would I not just go read books on that? Like I would get so much more than just figuring it out myself. Um, Inevitably, you are going to figure it out for yourself. Like I'm not just going to like open my mouth and let someone like mother bird, this is exactly what they do. So I'm just like, I do that, you know. But I do believe that it's wise to take the time to learn from others who have been and are where you are trying to go, and take what is valuable to you and discard the rest that isn't relevant or the way that you would do things, right? Because the way that I do things as a human with my beliefs is going to be different than the way that you do things, the way someone else does things. So you're not going to take everything I say here and apply it 100%, right? Like you're going to do things differently. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm sharing today. That is what I'm sharing. I don't know what to do for social media, honestly. Like, this is great. I don't want to put the time and effort into making posts personally, short form stuff right now. I do, but I don't. Like, there's just not a lot of value in it yet for me to do. And the amount of time that it would take to do it, the amount of time it would take to do that, and just the return, it just doesn't make sense at this exact moment with the other things I have on my plate. So I'm trying to figure that out. I know it's crucial as someone who's coached people on social media and grown people and changed their life from getting them to be full-time. But I don't know. It's not like a question of could I do it? Like, could I get 1 million followers? How do I get 1 million followers? It's always been a question of, God, is this what you want for me? Is now the right time? And what does my content look like? What does my audience gain? What kind of audience am I attracting? And I don't know. I don't want to allow indecision and like analysis paralysis to keep me from moving forward. I have to know and I have to be confident that what, like, moving forward is what is best. So, I don't know. And it's cool that God's not a dictator and he gives us a choice. And so I think part of this is I have a choice in it, and I'm not sure it's the right move at the moment. So yeah, almost forgot to do this today. So I need to. I'm going to be on top of it. I'm sure as time goes on, this will just be a more natural thing in my routine. So anyways, these videos are going longer than I expected, but that's okay. Love you guys. See ya.